Hey everybody, Marcin here, and today I want to talk about game key cards because I am somebody that was obsessed. Well, I don't know about obsessed. I was way into getting physical media. I was buying music CDs way after their time. People were using iTunes, streaming was already a thing. People were also using other means to get music, and I just kept buying CDs. I bought them all the way till, you know what? I have no idea, but I bought them for a very long time. I even have, just to show you, I have, now it's covered in like suntan lotion. You can't see it, or sunscreen. You can't really see it. Also, there's my OBS right there. But it is signed by Dave Mustaine. I got this signed when it was the third time I met the band, or Dave Mustaine. So I've been super into getting physical media. I loved it. And when it came to buying games, going to midnight releases, it couldn't be topped. It was so much fun. I even went to the midnight release for, I believe, Guitar Hero 3. I was rocking out at at midnight. It was a ton of fun. I also got Wind Waker HD at midnight. One of the stores I went to was able to have that happen because I think at the time those games were coming out on like a different day. So but still, Wind Waker HD on the Wii U, I bought that at midnight. It was a ton of fun. I did that with one of my friends. It's an experience that it's not the same doing it digital. It is not the same just being at home, waiting till midnight, and then launching the game. It's just not the same. But that leads me to game key cards, because something with me, even though I was super into buying physical, and I still like getting physical stuff, I got the Dongyong Bonanza amiibo. I love getting physical. It's just a lot of fun for me. But when it comes to video games, I actually stopped getting physical, besides a few, back on the Wii U. Because on the Wii U, when I would go to play with my friends online, we would be like, do you want to play this game? And it'd be like, yeah. And then we'd go to play, we'd already have a game in there, and we're like, oh, well, this is already in there. And then everyone was like, yeah, I have that in there too. And then we were just like, do you want to just play that? And we just play the game that was in there. Now, you could just say that we're insanely lazy, but I had an idea where I was like, what if we try buying one of these games digital and see if we use it more? And I believe it was Mario Maker for the Wii U. We bought it digital, and it turned out we ended up using it more. It was just way more convenient to be able to select through games and choose which one you wanted to play. You could switch games very easily, conveniently. I ended up playing the games more that way. So I figured I'll get them digital, I'll get more of my money's worth, and that's what I started doing. Now, I did say that sometimes I still buy physical, and that's where you can see on my top shelf, I have the NES World Championship, and it came with that gold cart that's up there too. I like getting physical now pretty much only if it comes with cool stuff, because the way they handle physical now, I don't even deem that it's worth doing anymore, because there was at least the argument of, if you buy physical, at least you own it. If you buy digital, you don't really own it, because if something happens and you can't connect to the server, you don't have the game anymore. But even with that argument, something that I've said is that there are a lot of times now that there are day one patches for games. So even if you get it physical, depending on what that day one patch is, you may not really be able to fully play the game or the way that the game should be. But regardless of that argument, physical now is just not what it was before. Because honestly, it's to the point where I don't even know what you're really buying. Because not only did they stop putting manuals in the games, I don't know if some of them have manuals, I'm sure some of them do, but I actually watched a Mario Kart World unboxing just to see if this was still the case. There's no manual that comes with Mario Kart World, which, by the way, that's the $80 game. They can't even throw in a freaking manual. They can't even throw a pamphlet in there. But there's no manual, and now there's game key cards. Mario Kart World's not one of the game key cards as far as I know, but with game key cards, now you don't even really own anything, really, because the game downloads to the console. So you're getting no manual, no game on the cartridge, so it feels pretty pointless. Now, I will say, I'm not knocking people that like buying physical. Like I said, I was one of those people. And to be honest, if it wasn't so convenient and if things didn't change the way they did, I would still prefer to get physical. I think it's way more fun. I think it adds to the experience. And I just think overall, it's just better. But now, with you not even getting anything really in the game, like the game case, so you get no manual, nothing, and the cartridge doesn't even have the game on it, it downloads to the console, and then you use the game key card to like unlock the download. I kind of can't believe this is what they ended up doing. Like, it makes physical feel almost pointless. And it's a shame too, because me talking about how like there's no manual or anything in the game anymore, that was an experience growing up. Going on that drive home when you're a kid and you just got a game and you're in the back seat and you're looking through that manual on the way home, that was such a cool experience. But now they don't even throw that in there. Like I said, I'm sure some games still have a manual in there. Mario Kart World doesn't even have a manual. But to keep this on the topic of game key cards, I feel like they're pushing the limits so freaking hard that it's to the point where, what, are we going to get like an IOU soon? Like just a little piece of paper that like that's the game? I'm glad that there still is an option for people that want to get physical, but I feel like this is starting to really push it. And the thing that ruffled a lot of feathers, or at least some feathers, I don't know how many feathers were ruffled, is that apparently Nintendo had said that they weren't going to have game key cards for first-party titles. Pokopia is a game key card. Now, Pokemon's in this weird area where it's like, is this first-party Nintendo? Not really, not technically. So it's like, you know, it's in this weird gray area. But even looking at the game itself, in my opinion, I don't know, maybe there's a ton of depth to it. I have no clue. It doesn't exactly look like a $70 game, but it's being priced at $70. So for it to seem like it's not even worth the $70 price tag and it's a game key card, I've seen people say that they're not going to get the game now because they see that it's a game key card. Sometimes people just say that. I think with what I just said, I think some people are being legit about it. Like, they're being honest. They're not going to get it. I just don't get why they did this with the cartridges. I've heard that they save money because the cartridge doesn't need to be the same as one that could hold the actual game on it. But what are we doing? Like, it's getting to the point, like I said earlier, I mean, I said it jokingly, but seriously, like, are we just going to get like a piece of paper that just says you own the game? Because it just feels like it's going so far down on what you're actually owning that I don't know. Personally, I'm kind of surprised they still do physical media. I think it's really only a matter of time before we don't even have an option anymore. And personally, what I wish they would do is, since physical media is like going down in terms of like how much people are buying it. I know that sometimes there's like different things that pop up because like vinyls, sometimes those sales go up. But in general, physical media isn't what it was before. I wish what they would do is just make a limited amount of them and just have them have extra stuff. Like, I'd rather spend a little bit more money knowing that I have more stuff, like the NES World Championship game on that top shelf. That was fun to buy because it came with cool stuff. I wish that they would just do that. I'd rather buy physical knowing that it actually has substance than getting something where there's no manual and a cartridge that doesn't even have the game on it. And like I said, I don't really have a foot in this race, or whatever expression you want to use, because I don't really buy physical anymore. But I bought that. I bought that because it was cool. So I'm still willing to get physical. But the way that it is now, I have really no drive to do it. They're not even going to put the game on the cartridge? What am I even buying? So I just think it's a shame that physical media went this way. And I think it really is only a matter of time before there's consoles that come out that just don't even offer physical media. It seems like that won't fully happen ever. But I'm kind of surprised that we also still do have physical media. It's weird. Like, I can't picture a world without the physical media, but at the same time, with how much money they can make without doing physical media, at the same time, I'm surprised they still do it. So at least there is still an option for people, because I've heard people say that they get the game key cards, and then if they want to sell the game, they still can. I believe that's the case. That's what I had heard from someone else. I don't know all the ins and outs of game key cards, so don't take that and be like, oh, you can do that, and then find out you can't. From what I had heard, I believe I was watching GVG. They were talking about how they can still sell the games with the game key cards. So at least there is still that. I just get them digital, so I don't have that ability to be able to sell them. But it is nice that the option is still there. I just wish physical media was just fun to get still, but I unfortunately don't think we're ever going to go back to those fun times. So that's going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below if game key cards bother you. Do you just buy digital? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this discussion, don't forget to like the video. If you want to stay up to date with my videos, don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.